All right, good morning, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, Manasseh. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Yes, good morning, Lynn Matthew. Good morning, Manasseh and Shay.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
All right. So, trust we all heard. Everybody, Luis is on the call. Mr. Godwin, good morning. Yes. So, trust we all had a wonderful weekend. We are going to be kickstarting this week's journey with back end. All right. So last week was very impactful. We had front-end web development and we got to learn a lot. And I think we're still having some assignments and some updates out there. Um, for us to fully grade you that you've completed front-end web development on this program, you have to submit the link with your portfolio. And I think basically for now, it's only 3 persons we've received that from. Um, I think the last person that dropped us, Lee Matthew, was the GitHub URL, but we want to see it hosted on Versa Live. Okay, so we are starting a new week. Ensure that you are very active to receive what the course is all about. All right. So without wasting much of your time, your mentor is on the platform, and while waiting for others to still join the call, we'll be kickstarting the session right away. All right. So buckle your seatbelt. This is backend. We've been able to go through um, product management, UI UX design, front end web development, and now we want you to learn the basics for back end development. All right, so buckle up your seatbelts as we will be bringing up your mentor, Mr. Godwin Jethro, who is going to be mentoring you for the next couple of classes for back end development. Let's put our hands together as we bring on stage Mr. Godwin Jethro. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Obviously, I'm happy to be here. I think it's an honor to be able to impact uh, to a very great individuals uh, the backend structure and what it means to be a backend engineer. I was expecting a bigger crowd. I don't know if Mr. Udofort, I don't know how many we are still expecting. I can just see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh, I don't know. Let's know how many are still
Okay,
waiting to join you.
to five are still
Oh, okay, 4 to
coming
5.
on.
We have a balanced number, yeah? So let's just start. So, I've been following your progress with other instructors. Mostly not necessarily like you might not see me in class, but I've requested some of your recordings so that I will see the progress and I will see the caliber of individuals here. And I will say that like I will have a good time, obviously, because I saw people that asked a lot of very good questions. I saw people that do assignments, their assignments. I saw uh, like individuals that wants to leverage this tech space. So before we start anything, I would like to lay some, not rules, but some guidelines. A very, very important guideline is about questions, actually. So like you've had in most of your other engagements or other sessions you've had, not necessarily tech related, that there's this idea of you can ask any question. I am not really a fan of that. So your question must be constructive. Your question you must ask something that is related to the course. You ask something that will help even not just you. You might know it, but you just ask for the benefit of others so that others will understand probably what you already know. And so like those kind of questions are the ones that uh, will be accepted in this session. Uh, I I think I've been in other classes where the instructor will say you can ask a stupid question. That would not be the case here, because a stupid question will be to me, what have you eaten today? Can't you agree that that's a stupid question? Because probably it doesn't relate to what the course is. So I can see another individual. So we might have multi-zone time zone student. So very impressive. Mr. Is it Mohammed? Mr. Mohammed, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Hello.
Hello. So let's just go straight to the point. So the aim of the course is not to make you already made engineers. Like it's not a magic one. This is a 2-week program, like for the back end. So the aim is to see if you are not fit, if that's your niche, if that's what you want. You've had a couple of other sessions. You've had front end, which is the last one. You've had project management. You've had UI. So like, don't make it look okay. I need to know what this like Godwin is saying. I need to impress. Just see if it's something you want to do. If it's not your thing, then you can always pick the plethora of others. You understand? So to me, like this is the simplest part of this journey you have. The backend will be the simplest. I hope to make it that way. Like it will be simple to you if that's your niche. If you find it a little bit difficult to follow or to understand, then there's no shame in it. Like it's not your niche. You can be a better front-end engineer. You can be a better UI engineer. You must not really be a back-end engineer. You get so just it's the whole section, the whole part is to see which one you are more skeptical to. So when you get your niche, then you are very good at that. I think I was in one of your, I had a recording of one of your session about, I think, UI UX, and somebody gave a very good UI this thing to their assignment, which like I just saw from there that this person this might be their niche, and others for front end and others. So let's be mindful of that. Like, okay, I need to, if it's not backend, like I need to understand the whole course load. If it's not coming naturally to you, I just know that, okay, probably this is not my niche, then that's why you're having the full thing, then you just pick the one you want, and that will be your niche. So you've heard that before you run, you walk. Before you fly, you have to walk first, correct? So I would like to start with running before walking. So ideally, like I get to ask question at the end of the session, but let's start with question. Like I would like any individual or anybody like I will even appreciate if all of you can give me a view of what you understand back end to be. What's the purpose of back end? Because I've been on multiple channels that like there's this discourse that I think on what are these popular this thing Reddit. I've been on others that individuals will just come up, what's the need? I can just use front end. Why should I even learn back end? Why should a software have a back end? Why can't we just use the front end and you connect to your database? So let me get your views. Please, like, I forget what I said. You can ask stupid questions as well. So let me get your views on. I would like each individual, since we're having a close niche, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 students. So you individually give me your views of what you think backend is before we start. Consider this running before you walk. So just give me a view of what, so that I will know how better to impact and what to impact you. Let's start with, on my screen, I can see Manasseh first. So let's start with Manasseh.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Just yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, sir. So the little idea I have about backend is they are components we can't see on the screen, unlike the front end. They are programs that work behind the scene that make the front end functional. So that's the little definition I can give.
Perfect. Very, 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 very good question. This thing, submission. Mr. Next on my screen, I can see, is it Leah or Matthew? So just give us your view, or you just came in. You didn't get my question, but we like your view on what you think backend is. Like, as I said earlier, this is considered this running before you walk, because the normal progression will be me having a session, then asking question. So let's have your view, Miss Matthew.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. Just go on.
Okay. For me, I feel backend is where you get to see the result of your front end. For example, while we were creating a portfolio, there was a place we had to put for if you want to contact us or something. So I feel, or I think, if you actually, where they put in the details, their name, their email, so when they put it there, you at the back end, you'll be able to receive the data and the information which was input from the front end.
Perfect submission. Mr. Manasseh and Charles, yeah. Hope it's not the same person, Mr. Manasseh, not Salisu. Are you on the
Yes,
call?
Manasseh was the one who first spoke, sir.
Okay, two accounts. Okay. Mr. Olatayo, I'd like to have your submission.
Good morning, sir.
From
my own understanding, backend is like the behind the scenes of any application or website, which basically deals with the database management and all. That's what
perfect.
everything-
Yeah, perfect. Mr. Ibube.
Yeah, good morning, sir. To me, what I understand by backend, it's actually the part of the website or app that runs on a server. is like everything that happens behind the, I will just put it behind the scenes that users don't see. Just like front end, we kind of see and interact visually, or should I say, I don't even know how to put it, but back end serves as the parts that the users, or should I say clients, they don't like see, such as storing data, when it comes to logging in form, when the user logs in, the backend kind of takes the login information, and I think it sends it to it's just what users can't see. Yeah, it's
All right, perfect, perfect. So far so good. I feel as if I will be the student here. These are very, very amazing submissions. Moving forward, Mr. Derek, I don't know if you had my question, or I can reiterate.
No, I did not hear that. Good morning.
Good morning. Before we start, I said we'll have to run before we walk, which it's not customary. So what that entails is, let's hear what you understand by an idea, if you have any idea of what backend is, before we start this process. So we'd like to hear your view. It's very important to us, so that we'll know the your level of proficiency, and what, because like we are planning to have a balance course load, like what is really needed to be known, because back the timeline for the particular part of this course is short, so we want to leverage the most important things to you guys, so that you can quickly start up, and you can, since tech is a continuous learning thing, we want to give you 4 years worth of course in 2 weeks, which you can see the impossibility in that, but that's the aim. We know what to give you, and where to point you to get other resource. So we would like, before we are able to access that, we need to know what you know about backend. So the question now still stands: what's your view about backend? What do you understand backend to be?
Sorry, I was not around for the last class, so I wasn't, and I did not check it up on YouTube. So I'm going to do it later today.
Okay, this another this the beginning of backend session. Like ideally, Mr. Derek, like in a normal class setting, you get a course before you get questions. You understand? This is the reverse
Yes,
of that. This is the first class. I think your last engagement was front end, correct?
yes.
Uh-huh. Like this is my first class, this back end class. So what I'm asking is, what is your preconceived idea of what back end is? Just something like, just you must have known what back end is before this particular class. Don't think it's probably a stupid submission. Nothing is stupid here. Just give me what an idea of back end you have.
Okay. Let me see.
All right, while you still ponder, Mr. Homsuk, you just give us your submission. If then probably Derek can go last. Is Mr. Homsuk with us? Homsuk, I pronounce that correct? All right, Mr. Mohammed, just give us your submission.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Mohammed. I can hear you. Just go on.
Yes. My assignments is pending because I am a front-end developer. We are more than 1.5 year experience. Basically, I am too busy in office work. But in this week, I complete my all pending assignments as like UI UX and front end complete in this week.
All right. No problem. I think there's a misunderstanding on the question, but no problem. I think what we've had so far, like it's very detailed, and I can take it that most of us have a similar view. Probably the way the wording might come in differently, but basically you are pointing to the same thing. Currently, I can see backend is something that's the unseen part of software application. Um, I can see is where front end gets their result from. We have mostly database interaction, and
Yes.
we have it runs on server. All right, that's the summary of all your submissions. And
Okay.
I
Okay.
can, yeah, I can safely say just mute. No problem. Like I've taken the session now. Mr. Mohammed, just mute your
Which language is used for backend?
just mute your mic. Mute your mic. Like we'll continue.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. And so these are very interesting submissions. And as I said, this is a class to not to really make you a backend engineer, but to help you choose if that's where you want to be. And so that's the essence of this class. So it's not 100% detailed, as Mr. Homsuk wanted to know the course probably that we might be using for this. Um, there's no specific course that we use for it. That's why I needed to hear what you know about backend. Personally, I'm a senior Java engineer, but being a senior engineer, you need to be able to pick up other languages. And so, like, I'm versatile in that case. So, like, it's not I'm not enforcing you must do this particular one. No. So, like, I needed to know your proficiency, then I will know which language to use for you guys for this particular session. But what I'm saying is we might have to have a hybrid of the languages. Probably we might take in, since you already started with front end, so that you will be more comfortable. I don't know if you did JavaScript part of your front end session, like I think for 2 weeks, correct? If you've done JavaScript, then probably we'll just start with basics of Node, then probably we'll do some form of Java. But depending on how this progress, then we'll see. But I don't like as I said, like I'm always in discourse. Like I've led teams, so like there are some prevailing um, uh, things that I've come to learn, uh, which I discourage some of my uh, people that I mentor, is that don't think language, think software first. So I can comfortably write Python code. I can comfortably write a PHP. I can comfortably write JavaScript, TypeScript. So it shouldn't be like, obviously you have a niche and you be a specialist at that. You understand? But languages are just tools per se. So like they all follow the same pattern. And so I think in my college year, where we didn't see a programming language until I think my second year or so. So it was mostly what is programming, not what is the programming language. And so let's remove that idea from our head. We are getting the full package on, like, you can pick up any programming language you want to learn. Probably I think in in 2 or 3 months, depending, of course, on your sharpness, which I can see from your submission that I'm having a very, very, very sharp class, and I'm lucky to be your instructor. So let's hit the nail on the head. Okay, I'll be sharing a presentation slide. When it's up, you just let me know. Okay. Yes. I have so many windows open, so perfect. And if my screen is up to you, just let me know. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yes.
All right. All right. Today's this is the beginning. So today we'll just see the basics. It will be a very short class. We are 30 minutes into it already. We'll see the basics of back end, and then in next class, like from your submission, we'll just kickstart very fast into uh, not necessary code, because I think that's the easy part. The hard part is you understanding uh, the like how it runs actually, what to run and how that thing runs. That's the most important part. Coding part, like if you know the idea of what programming is, like I can safely tell you, like I'm a testament to that. You can pick up any programming language like very fast. They all follow the same principle. And so like, but of course, for the benefit of back-end development, we like to choose the object-oriented kind of language as opposed to, I think, the other three others, which are functional and procedural. So when we get there, I will explain what those are. And then you see the reasoning why most software development use the object-oriented languages. But I think there was a point. I think I used not Pascal. Is it? Yeah, I think Pascal was, yeah, for functional, a functional implementation, and but it wasn't back-end development actually. And so since our scope is back-end and development, we'll just limit ourselves to what we need for you guys. So moving on very fast. My name, of course, is Godwin. And let's see. Okay. This is today agenda. Like with the time now, I don't think we might be able to cover. Then probably in the next session, we'll continue from there. So we'll see the foundation, we'll see what and why backend development, the key components and considerations. You've done front end before now, so we'll contrast and see why, what is front end and why, what is back end and why, very briefly. And then I think we'll see what an API is. Hopefully, if we get so much time, we'll visit REST, what REST is, HTTP method and status. Then we'll build our first API. Hopefully, like we'll just use Node because it's quickly to set up, or if there's extensive time and you guys catch up very fast, and then we'll use the Java framework for that. But that's depending on like our level of proficiency, of course. So let's start with what with some of the things we've said, which is cannot be seen, result of front end, behind the scene, and database run on server. So this is the scope of all we'll do, like in this 2 weeks. API, server, business logic, and database storage. So that will be the scope. We will not go beyond this. We will not do cost. We will not do. We will not have materials like what is caching, what is the architectures and other very fun parts. So because of the limited time we have, you can always pick that up one way or the other. So first of all, we'll start with API. We'll exhaust that. We'll have a little bit detail on server. I think I can combine that. And this is just the hierarchy, but I can start from any of them. Like there's always API, then obviously server, then you have some logic on your server, then that logic, when you have a state out of it, you need to store that state for persistence case. So that will be what we'll cover in its entirety, but I can start from server right now. I can start from any of this, but chronologically, ideally we'll have API, server, business logic, and database. Does this look familiar to any of us? Probably when we hear back, and obviously we'll have an idea of, okay, we might be doing API, correct? In some of your responses, you said server. So, in some of your responses, you said database. So, which is encapsulated in data storage. So, let's start with server. I think that's a very easy misunderstood aspect of this. Let me ask a question. Do we serve front-end application? Do we serve that? Like, do we need server for front-end application? Just give just somebody to answer. You don't need to raise your hand, you just answer. Just help your other teammates if you already know that. Do we need server for front-end application? Anybody? You just say yes or no, like answer, so that we'll move very fast from here.
No, sir.
We don't need server. Okay. All right. Any other person? Okay.
So we need a server.
We need a server. We need a server.
So not always.
Okay, not always. Okay. All right. Let me give you a scenario. I believe you guys in your front-end session, you were asked to upload, or I don't know if you've gotten to that point, to something called Vercel. Were you asked to do that? Or like was Vercel introduced to you guys?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Good. So I've built my application, correct? That's my front-end application. I've built my front-end application. It's on my laptop. Where do I put it so that other people can see it? It's just common sense that, okay, I need to put it somewhere where other can access it, correct? That's where the server comes in. Both front end and back end can start up on the server. So why do I start with that? Because it's a common misunderstanding. Like when we just say backend, we just say server. So like I think I struggle with that as a student. Is it 10 or so years ago? Like I really struggle with that. So so we shouldn't, like, in as much as we might put backend in line with server, we'll see why that is the case. There's a reason why that is the case. But please, when somebody asks you, where do we keep our front end as well? It's obviously on the server as well. But we'll see why it's not called a server-side application. So how does a server works? The server is just like we are all we are all joining this meeting from some form of device, our laptops, our desktops, our phones, correct? So the server is just a specialized type of, if you see a server, like I might have some images here, like probably I will show you in the next class. It's just like a normal, like a very big laptop like this, like internally, like the board, everything, it just looks like a very big laptop. It has your processor, it has your SSD or HDD. It has, the only difference now with your local machine is just that it runs server specific softwares. Correct? What is just there, why it's just there is, okay, like my application needs to be served on a central or distributed space where when somebody, like it can be shared or served to multiple people at once. You understand? So that's what the server is. So it comes in um, two parts, the hardware or infrastructure part and the software part. So it's just there to help serve your application. You cannot build your application and keep it on your system. You need to share it so that I will see it. Like the aim of it is for others to see what you've done. So like the server is there to serve that application out to the users, your audience, people you need to be able to see your application. That's what the server does. So as I said, it has two parts, the infrastructure part and the software part. And so it's just like a bigger computer actually. When you, like, if you see the internal setting of it, it looks exactly, if you open your laptop, you see it looks the same. It's just probably different hardwares, bigger hardwares, and more customized hardwares. That's why I don't know if any of us have been to a data center where they host servers. You can ordinarily, at the end of the day, you shut down your system. You use, then you just shut down. So the server, like for it to continuously serve this application that you've built and put on them, they need to be up like 24 hours, 365 days. Even if a particular server it can run like for that, it will have backup server. When this is down, then the other just picks with the same instances of your application running on multiple of them. I think that's how platforms like AWS, which probably we've had, that's how platform like Cloud, Azure, and Google, this thing works. Like they are distributed and serverless. Probably I might be throwing in some technical terms here, but if you are confused or you need you need to ask, you just ask me. You raise up your hand, and I can just stop the session and answer you. Okay, that's the server. I believe you now like understand why and the reason why server is needed, correct? Just give me a thumbs up if you are following. Say, okay. Are other people in this session correct? Miss Matthew? I really need to, like, the aim of, I will not pick this session if, like, I believe you don't need to be impacted. So, like, the essence obviously is for you to understand. That's why I'm being a little bit detailed about some of these things, correct? So, like, how will I know you've understood me is to give me an impression that you have. In this case now, I'll obviously, like, okay, perfect. So that's the server part of it. So now let me come to the part where there's this little confusion about why backend is synonymous to servers. The reason is that once you've hosted your front-end application, an instance of it to your server, me as a user, when I request to log into your application, or I request some things from your application, like I request an entry point into your application, at the first call, all your front-end logic code, whatsoever, will be sent to me at once. It will live, in this case now, it will live on my browser. It will just be there on my, when I make my first call, everything pertaining the front end will be sent to me and it will be stored on my browser. Is that understood? So the other case is the backend logic, or the backend infrastructure that encompasses the database, the logic, the business logic. It's permanently on the server at all cases. The only time you need it can just give you snippet of resource at a particular request. That's why backend is synonymous to server. It's always on the server. And there are reasons for that. So that's why when next in any discourse, in any setting you find yourself, and that is being discussed, I already know this already. So Mr. Manuel says it's not that you are wrong, it's just a popular misconception. That's why, like, most beginners struggle with this idea that front end is not, it cannot be served, it cannot be on the server, which is false. It needs to be served to people now. So, like, where does it need to be served from? From the name server, I think it's correctly just implies that it serves out application. The only difference there just being the server, the front end software or code is sent at once at first request to the server. It's sent to the browser where it lives for the duration of you using the application. When you log out, you close your window. If you have some form of cookie, which we've seen in most of our browsing and surfing of the internet, we've seen cookies. So if you have that set up on your application, then it's when you don't need to, whenever you try to log in, or whenever you need to visit that site, it will not be loaded again. It will live on your, even when your system is down, when you close your browser and others, it will still be there. That's what you do when you click that cookies. It will store that thing permanently for some period, a small period on your browser. Even when you close your browser, you come back, it comes again. But if you don't click that cookie, in most cases, anytime you try to visit that site, the first thing to go to the server, bring the resource and keep it. Then when you close it, then it goes off. So both front end and back end are served from the server. Okay, I don't know if that's understood. So, like, I needed to start with that because we need to clear that off our table, and then we'll go to API, and then the bulk of the work will be on business logic. We'll access your proficiency there as well. Then we'll like, I think an hour or so, like, we'll be up to speed, I can assure you, using Node to work on that particular part. And so next, is that really understood, Mr. Derek? Mr. Derek, are you still with us?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's understood, correct? Do you have any question?
No, sir.
All
Not
right.
not yet.
Okay, Mr. Olatayo, that's understood, correct?
Yes, sir.
So in popular discourse now, like because I hate all those arguments where individuals will just they are making some baseless argument. Actually, the one I really have I can't really stand is when I see people arguing programming languages. Why can't I do both? When I think in some sessions, they will be, Java is better. I can They will come in. I can do both. So I think that should be your mindset. And so like these are so many misconceptions like that. It's in most courses, even professional courses, they assume it's something you should know, but you need to be taught to know it, but they just assume you know it. Mostly because from the name it might imply that you should be able to just see it and know that this is what they should do. But that's not how I want to have this session. I assume like we are still learning. We need to know. I believe if you don't know the basics, you can do all your programming. So I think I've managed so many programmers or coders, like we want to be called, who don't know these basics, but they can code very well, but they don't know all these little basics, networking basics, all these basics. They don't know it. Like when an issue comes in, you will be on your LLM generators, the AI. If you don't know how to even ask, it will just give you whatever your prompt is. You just end up being more confused. You just pick some code and just paste it without even knowing what is there. So this basic idea, this basic knowledge is very, very important. That's why I'm taking my time to have like a breakdown of this. So let's just quickly move forward to the next part of the slide. Oh, okay, what and why backend development? All right. Just like front end, of course, practical development, it's primary writing, testing, and maintaining software. I think in previous slide, I think done justice to this. So these are the key components of, these are the key components of back end and some consideration. Sorry. Okay. First of all, the focus obviously is about API server, business logic database, which I've shed a little bit light on it earlier. And of course, some concerns that, some concerns, um, we see security concern. These are some of the concerns that backend helps to correct. The security part of it, correctness, is scalable, is reliable, and some tech stack which you use to build this back end server language. You can see even myself, like I when you just see server, you think it's just okay. Languages like Java, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, PHP, Go, etc. You can have so many, but for the purpose of this our course, we'll just limit it to JavaScript and Java. If we have time, just for demonstration, we'll see some little bit of PHP or Python. So what is it that you are required to, like a skill you need to have to be a very good backend engineer? You need to be a problem solver. That's very important. You need to be a debugger. You need to have a very good skill of debugging. What's debugging? You have an error. You being able to find that error, knowing that error, and resolving that error. So it doesn't just stop at you being a problem solver. You must be a very good debugger. You must be able to know what database is and how to design database. and of course system architecture, which is not under the scope of this particular section. So okay, next we'll see why front. I think I have 5 minutes till the end of the session. So let's stop at this particular point. Let's understand. Then we'll have questions. Then we'll continue on. Is it Thursday that you might have me next? Then we'll get to quickly run over API very fast, the structures and others. Then probably on Saturday, then we start coding. We start getting our hands dirty. Front end and versus back end or against back end. This lives on your user device, and that lives on the server. Sorry, that lives on the server. It stores temporal state. Like since it lives on your device, it begs the question that it will not be secured. So you just leave your laptop, you are browsing your bank application, probably you are trying to make a transaction, then you leave your application, you just go to do something, somebody can come in and see what you have there. So like I can show you, like probably in the course of this particular course, how like we can have some simple exploit on how individuals can exploit your data on your browser, which is why it should be temporal. Anything that is saved there should be temporal on your browser. Then on the server, you save very important a state, which is persisted safely. Since we've seen that some of the concerns is that it's helped to cover the security part of the application. And of course, one user at a time, that's for the front end. Like when you are browsing on your laptop, you can only be the singular individual trying to access the site, correct? But on the server, on its own part, where the backend lives, it will be accepting multiple requests. Like I'm on my device, Mr. Ebube is on his device, Mr. Udolfort is on his device. We are all accessing the same server and same instance of the server. Like that, sometimes that we needed to do some optimization on server because on our server infrastructure, because we didn't factor in 1 million people, not just 1 million people, 1 million people at once trying to access a resource. Those are where optimization comes in, and that is one of the reasons why we must have a server, a back end, as opposed to having everything from the front end. And of course, the front end, at any point in time, it's the correctness of it. It's, let's say we are trying to access, two individuals are trying to modify a singular resource on the server. At any point, you might not have the most recent resource. Another person must have modified that resource. But on your system, you'll be seeing something else on your front end. But whenever you need to get the most recent one, you need to go to the server. That's what that last point is, I think, which might not be true because that's what I can see. But the source of truth, what is always there, is on the server, correct? So for now, instead of jumping to the next, I like to be on time. I like to follow time because I believe all of you might have other engagements, and you sacrifice in a particular time, an hour, for this session. Let's respect that. So we'll continue in our next session. Then we see API in details. If time permits, then we'll just have a simple implementation of an API. So like I like to work practically so that you understand what you are doing, so that if you really, at the end of the session, if you don't choose backend, it means it's not your niche. For now, let's stop at this point. Then in our next session, we'll continue with what an API is. Then we'll see the API that is consistent with a backend
application. There are so many different types of APIs. Then we'll see the one that is consistent with what you will be using, which at the end of it, you can connect your backend, that your front end with what will be taught here, and you just push it up on Git. Obviously, it starts from there. If that's where you want to be, then we'll have you on the backend part. So for now, I like to maintain time, as I said. So the session will be ending, but it will not be without questions. So quickly, like from what we've seen today, let's ask our questions if we have any in preparation for our next session. There will not be any assessment today. Today is just getting to know you, laying the groundwork, you understanding what you are getting yourself into, which is fun, I believe, a lot of fun. So that's the basis of today's session. Then I would like to hear from you, like you've had some preconceived ideas of what backend is before we started. And then at this point, let's hear if there are any questions, probably 5 minutes. If there are any questions, then we'll address it. If there are none, then we'll call it a day. Now, any questions?
Yes. Sir, why we not move as like JavaScript libraries and frameworks as like React.js and Next.js before backend?
Yes. I think when we start the API, before we put up any API, because I'm not unreasonable to put you in the eye of the storm without first of all having some form of setup. So that will be done before we start anything. Like I think we'll have some little basics of
Sure.
Node.js and its setup. Yeah.
Sure. It's great.
So any other questions?
We just make backend in Python.
Backend in Python. My strength lies, of course, I can have that, but probably at the end of the session, if you are still interested, that's the 2 weeks, then you reach out to Mr. Udolfort, then we can schedule robust backend workflow and design, backend design for you particularly. But at the moment, for the benefit of others, we'll have something that like at least a large number of our students can understand, and follow. But I appreciate that particular insight. Of course, you can reach out after. Let's just have the full session, the 2 weeks. Then, if there's any other thing you need to be added to your this thing, then you just reach out to Mr. Udolfort. Then we'll have that set up for you.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
All right, it's all right. Any other questions? So I can safely give you a certificate now. Yeah, certified backend engineer. These are no questions. All right, no problem. All right, Mr. I like a man targeted teaching. So I might be calling names. It's not like I think from our interaction, I might pick up little things about individuals just to help out. So like if you hear your name, it's not that there's anything targeting you. It's just like probably I need more of your insight to help others. So Mr. Derek, I don't know if you have an idea now. If you go out, like if you're trying to explain what a backend is to somebody, Mr. Derek. All right, I take that as a yes. Because of time, Mr. Udolfort, I would like to concede the session to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Godwin. That was a very impactful beginner's course for backend web development. I trust all the students have gotten an idea. I mean, basically, it was this first session was for us to get an insight on what backend web development is all about. The question in our mind, we created a portfolio and we created a form to submit. What happens to that form? How do we get to receive the messages that users send? And that's the general conception about backend web development. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Godwin. And we will be looking forward to seeing you again on Thursday at same time. And yes, Mr. Godwin Jetro is your backend mentor and is on the platform. If you have any question related to backend web development, you can ask it on the channel and tag him along with it. All right. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Godwin. I think our time for today is already fast spent. And before we proceed for um, today's class, we Mr. Chidi gave us an assignment for last week and it's still pending on our list. So far, so good. We have only 3 students who have completed the front-end web development course. Remember, your attendance still counts. You miss 10 consecutive attendance, you're out of the program. All right. So if you know that we haven't received your submission, do so. At this point, I'll just be sharing my screen so you can have a look at the attendance yourself and know where you're defaulting. And if you are not, then you can always reach out to me. All right, please confirm briefly if you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So we have Daniel on our Patrick here is pending for, okay, we have week 4 portfolio submission and GitHub URL and your host on Vercel. So far so good. Daniel on our Patrick is on the call. All right, no. We don't have his submission for Vercel. We don't have his live URL. We only have Victory Lewis that has completed the front end week. We have his portfolio, GitHub URL, and his Vercel URL. And I haven't received that from Manasseh Salisu. I've received that from Manasseh Anche, sorry. And we've received that from TJ. And I think for Lynn Matthew, we still have Vercel URL pending. Case, we have not seen your GitHub URL, and neither have we received your Vercel URL. Precious Tommy, we have not received your GitHub URL, neither have we received your Vercel URL. Same thing with Derek, no GitHub URL and no Vercel URL. Same thing with Mohammed, no GitHub URL and no Vercel URL. Abasifreke, we have your HTML, CSS, and we have your GitHub URL, but we don't have your Vercel URL. All right. And Annabelle is spending from a lot of things at the moment. So you see, we are keeping track of all these things. And once you're missing your attendance, it's very vital for the program. We have the record, and once we discover that you have missed it for like 10 times, to be unfortunate that you might be dropped out of the program. All right, so let's ensure that we are keeping up to date, following all the classes. You miss a class, you have the YouTube link. You can always go back and review it and stay up to date. We don't want it to be said of us that we graduated students that are not actively engaging in the software industry. All right, so we are trying to maintain perfect track record here. So you ensure that you keep up to date with all the tasks. And if you have any question, you have any difficulty, feel free to reach out to the channel, tag your mentor, tag anyone that you feel can be of essence and help to you, and ensure that you are moving along with others. We meet same time on Thursday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. West African time. Thank you so much. Does anybody have any question pending this? If you have anything, you can speak now before we call it a day. All right. So thank you so much, guys, for coming out. Ensure that we do the needful as we progress and enjoy the backend week. Thank you once again, Mr. Godwin Jetro, and see you all in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.